Have you ever really stopped to think about this? That what you expect to happen can actually physically change what does happen? Well, today we're diving into this incredibly powerful and often invisible force that shapes our experiences from the inside out. It's called the expectation effect.
So let's just jump right in with a couple of stories that are honestly pretty mind-blowing. They really show just how much power our minds have in dictating our physical reality. And this isn't science fiction. This is all documented science.
Okay, picture this. There's a guy participating in a clinical trial for a new antidepressant. But in a really dark moment, he decides to overdose, and he swallows all 29 of the pills he was given for the trial. So he gets rushed to the hospital, and his body is just shutting down. He's pale, he's drowsy, his blood pressure is through the floor. For 4 solid hours, the doctors are throwing everything they have at him to try and stabilize him, but nothing is working. His body is reacting exactly like you'd expect from a massive overdose.
And just when things look their absolute bleakest, a doctor from the original drug trial shows up at the hospital. And what he says next just changes everything in a literal instant.
So what's the big secret? Turns out the man hadn't taken any active drugs at all. He was in the control group. He had overdosed on 29 sugar pills, completely useless placebos with zero medication in them whatsoever.
And the second he heard the truth, poof, his symptoms just vanished. He made a complete, immediate recovery. His belief, his expectation that he was overdosing had created these life-threatening physical symptoms, and just changing that belief made them go away.
And look, this isn't some crazy one-off story. During World War II, when morphine supplies were running low, doctors would often inject wounded soldiers with a simple saltwater solution, but they'd tell them it was a powerful painkiller. The result? It was found to be 90% as effective as actual morphine. Just incredible.
So what in the world is going on here, right? How can a simple belief create such a huge biological change? Well, this is what scientists now call the expectation effect.
To put it really simply, your brain isn't just a passive observer predicting the future, it's actively helping to create it. When you expect to feel less pain, your brain literally starts a biological response to make that happen. It's trying to get your physical body to match your mental blueprint.
It kind of just boils down to that classic Henry Ford quote, right? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. He was really onto something profound. Your mindset isn't just your mood. It's basically an instruction manual you're handing to your body.
Okay, so this is where it gets really fun. We can actually go from just being sort of passive victims of this effect to actively using it to our advantage. So let's break down 3 really practical ways you can do this.
We're going to look at 3 powerful techniques you can use to harness this expectation effect through rituals, through what are called mental simulations, and by completely changing the way you think about willpower itself.
First up, rituals. Think about the greatest athletes in the world. Serena Williams bouncing the tennis ball exactly 5 times before her first serve. Rafael Nadal's super specific pre-match routine. These aren't just silly superstitions. They are incredibly powerful psychological tools. Still not convinced? Check this out. A Harvard study had people sing karaoke. One group just got up and sang. But the other group, they had them do this weird little ritual first. Draw their feelings, sprinkle salt on the drawing, count to 5, and then throw the paper away. The result? The ritual group boosted their pitch score by over 13 points compared to the people who did nothing.
And you see this in pro sports all the time. One study found that elite basketball players are over 12% more likely to sink a free throw if they stick to their personal pre-shot ritual. At that level, a 12% edge is absolutely massive.
So why do they work? It's all about creating a sense of control and focus. When you perform this deliberate series of actions, you create an expectation of success in your mind, which then primes your brain for peak performance.
All right, technique number 2 is using mental simulations. Now, listen to this study, it's wild. A group of military cadets took a standard eye test. Later, they were put inside a flight simulator and told to take it deadly seriously, to really become a pilot. Well, inside that simulation, they were suddenly able to read serial numbers on planes that were way smaller than the text they couldn't read on the first eye test.
So how can you use this? Well, before you start any task, mentally simulate a really extreme version of it. If you're about to play a game of chess, imagine you're up against a world champion. If you're going to play some pickup basketball, imagine you're guarding LeBron James. By setting that super high expectation, you're priming your mind and your body to perform at a much higher level.
And finally, this third one might just be the most powerful of all. It's about redefining your belief about willpower. You know, most of us think of willpower like a gas tank. You use it and it gets empty. But what if you believed it was more like a muscle, that it actually gets stronger the more you use it?
Well, in one study, they told one group of people the gas tank story and the other group the muscle story. Then they gave them all a really tough concentration test. The results? They were just astounding. The people who were told that willpower is like a muscle were twice as accurate as the other group. Their belief literally determined their mental stamina.
Here's a super simple way you can start building this new belief for yourself. It's called the 2 then quit ritual. Next time you're working and you feel that mental fatigue, that urge to just quit, tell yourself willpower is a muscle and push for just one more work sprint. When that feeling comes back, do it one final time. Then you can stop. You will be absolutely amazed at how much further your perceived limits actually are.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that your mindset isn't just some fuzzy, feel-good idea. It's a biological trigger. And understanding this expectation effect gives you a real toolkit to consciously push your own limits.
So I'll just leave you with this question. Every single moment of every single day, your expectations are sending signals to your body, and they are shaping your reality. So knowing that, what are you going to choose to expect from yourself today?